So with the Imperium ending, it's time to bring the storm. Greetings everyone, I am Sister Lilia and welcome to my armory. So, this partswork has just dropped as the Imperium magazine is now 6 issues away from its end, or 5 issues? Something like that, maths-wise. So yeah, now if you're in other parts of the world, you've probably already opened this thing. England, almost everywhere gets it before Australia, which is honestly kind of lousy. I'd like for us to get something first for once, other than the bad things. And at the same time, it took really long for Australia to get COVID and get properly locked down by it. I say properly, but and to be fair, it was people with money that brought it in. I've already talked about the big C at the start of a video, which is probably a cardinal sin on YouTube. So, so we have that lot. Then we have the miniatures, and I'll just stand this up at the back. So we get to see what's coming next. So the next issue is giving us 10 orcs, and then there's going to be 5 vindictors, and some paint, and a dedicated paint issue, and blah-de-blah-de-blah. We've got the various spells and so on. That's enough of that crap. So, first up, we've got the models, and I will build these in a moment and come back. I'll come back with these once I've built them, but yeah. I'll build these up in a moment, but first, we've got the big magazine here. I'll talk about that in a moment. We've got character sheets, which give you names for different things. We've got one for Sylvaneth, one for Caradron Overlords. We've got one for Cruel Boys, one for Iron Jaws, one for Stormcast Eternals. Armies of Destruction collection, which is quite a lot of orcs. Seen many of these. I'm sure I've seen many of these converted into 40k orcs. And on the back we have the collection of order, which is a wacky assortment of things. And we've got all manner of stuff ranging from your angry tree man through to cavalry, through to griffin toad cavalry, various angry trees and so on. Now, let's take a look at the battle mat, because that actually looks like a decent mat for once. On one side of it, I will just stand. One side of it, we have lots of circles for some fucked up reason. RGW, just give us good battle mats and tell us on the reference sheet where to put things. And then we have desert texture. Neat. If I got multiple of them, is this actually 2 foot wide? First. Well, how long is that ruler? 24 inches? No, it isn't. Okay. But a thought I just had with this is if you wanted to, you could end up getting yourself more than one of the first issues, so as to give yourself an actual battlefield mat and just tape them in the middle or whatever. Or maybe not even tape them. Pardon if you saw any dressmaking stuff off to the side there. Yes, I'm in the middle of dressmaking. Maybe you'll see it on the channel. You'll probably see it on the channel, let's be real. So we've got the free poster issue. End up showing anything back. No. Oops, I've already torn it. That's doing well. So we have, is that Black Talon? This big poster. I actually kind of like this art. I don't like this one. It's interesting that it's chaos when the main focus of this magazine is orcs. And then on the back we see the breakdown of various things, including the magazine contents as it was at issue 1, which may not be where it is at the end of the magazine, because I think they add extra things in. Yes, on the side of order we've got all manner of got a lot of various stormcast things, but not all that many of the bigger stormcast. We've got you've got some griffin riders. You've got that tree dryad thing. You've got some other tree creatures and so on. There's a Caradron Overlord. Wouldn't surprise me. You've got plenty of orcs on the other side. And some giants. Huh, nice. Cheap way to get a giant in like 2 years' time. This magazine started in 21. At least I think it was 21. Was it 21? The Imperium magazine, was that 21 that it started, or 22? No, it was 22. Remember, because I ended up with a whole lot of extra character models to turn into Necron Immortals. And still haven't done that conversion. See if I get that done in the next few months. Got a Welcome to Age of Sigma, a brief overview of the Stormcast Eternals, a subscription thing that talks about the bullshit you get with the extra things. Apparently you get a mug. Yeah. Don't really need to plug that much. I paid money for this issue. I wasn't given it. We've got the Night Arcanum, which this magazine comes with. We've got the Kill Boss and Stabber Grot, which is what is facing them. So you've got a stabby orc. I mean, all orcs are usually stabby. And armoured wizard. Nice. Some stabby mobs. You got the build guide. You've got the plugging of the game. Some guides about painting and so on. You've got a little brief overview of how to play the game. And then another overview of the collection at the end of the magazine and a thing of what's coming in the next 2. So, yeah, I probably will be getting the next 2 magazines purely for the models so that I can use them in medieval terrain showcases. Because I've got some fantasy terrain. Well, I say medieval, I mean fantasy. So many folks conflate the two and expect fantasy to adhere to medieval logic, and it's like, no, it doesn't. It's fantasy. It can adhere to its own logic. Stop trying to force things. But yeah, I'm going to be getting these so as to use them in terrain that'll probably show up on the channel maybe in June, hopefully. Given that these won't be the only Stormcast that'll be on the channel that month. I have a lot from the Mortal Realms magazine that were meant to become custodies, but I never ended up catching up with the guy that had offered me a whole lot of custodies bits due to Facebook not being the best place to communicate with them and them making it difficult to get in contact with. Oh, well, enough of me rapping on a potential former opponent. So I'm going to build the models and I'll be back. I just realised I didn't actually open these. So, comes with 6 dice. You've got 2 of the larger, 40mm bases. think we're 40 mil. 128, 125 mil. In terms of the sprues themselves, let's just adjust the light a bit. So we've got, on one side we've got the two orcs, and on the other side we've got the stormcast mage. No, I am not remembering its proper name. Not unless I play it. Yes, we've got funky jazz hand. So we've got jazz hand, we've got staff. Neat detailed base. Casualty base. Like, that base is a casualty. We've got interestingly detailed. The design of the orcs is wacky. Looking at the back of them, the shield is kind of grim, very orcish in the Warhammer setting at least. We've got a flail, we've got a big chopper, got a little tiny shield. We have tiny shield. Is the head a separate piece? And yeah, we've got a stabby arm. Like, we've got the head and an arm. I love it when they do that. It's like one of the sprues from a different Stormcast was a leg and head in the, it was one leg and all the way up to the head as one piece, but it was just like running through the core of the body. So it's like, I am leg. We've got a book and a book pauldron. On the other side we've got the inside and the mess. The staff is neat. The amount of spiky bits. There's a lot of spiky things floating around on these. Okay, enough of me rambling on about the sprues. I'm going to go build them. Okay, before I talk about the models, I'm going to come back to the mat that comes in this. This game mat is both bigger than the one that the Imperium magazine's first issue came with, which, let's be real, is pathetically tiny in comparison. And even is bigger than the one that the 9th edition starter set, 9th edition 40k, recruit edition starter set came with. Yeah, it's a bigger mat. Look at that. And yes, you can see models off to the side there. So be it. But yes, that is the size of the mat. In comparison, it's huge. I might have to get another couple of these just... Oops, pardon the mess. Might have to get another couple of these just for use in games of 40k. I mean... Oops. We have terrain tile. That's 1 foot squared. That's a square foot on this. I'm going to have to get more of these. They're going to be good for terrain. Okay, on to the models. Okay, so here we have the characters that came with the magazine. So I've got the leftover bits next to them. There's 2 head options in the kit and what seems like an alternative weapon option. That gives the war boss or cruel boss, or I keep forgetting the name because honestly it's not super important. It's an orc with a shield that's leading them. War boss is probably the best term, or raid boss, but war boss is kind of the main thing. So in terms of size, the proportions are relatively similar. The orcs, of course, bigger because greener is better. In the immortal words of the orcs. Or green is best. Silence, Xenos heretic. But yes, in terms of how they scale with Age of Sigmar stuff, I couldn't find any Stormcloaks immediately, so we have here a Nighthaunt from early on in the last starter set. One. We have a Black Powder Buccaneer squad leader who the light is making it look like he has paint rubbed off, but it isn't. The paint is perfectly on there. And we have some little grots to put next to it. Like, these are made to look like they're human, but have been modified to look human, but they're grots. Or snotlings, or goblins. Going with other game system models, we have some Reaper miniatures models to put that you can kind of see next. And we have a ranger counts as and a parent and child. That there. Sister of Battle, anyone? Sister of Battle. Paragon Warsuit that's only just taller than it. Tall enough to flame it in the face. I mean, if we want to get comically bigger, we can bring in an army guard, which is just like, hello, I am bigger than all of you. Or we can take it to a comical degree and drop in a Questorus Knight, which is comically huge in comparison. And that paper is not very well sealed, as I just had sweat drip off onto it, and that was from sweat. Lovely. Recording in summer, in what is practically Australian summer. Wonderful. Yeah. I have other issues as well that add to that. Yes, let's just put these on a podium, on a turntable, and stick them together so you can get a bit of a look at them. So these are decent enough. Honestly, I'm just impressed with the battle mat. I wasn't expecting something so big to come in what is essentially a $6 pack. I was expecting it to be the kind of tiny one that the Imperium magazine had, but no, it's bigger than what came in the in the budget and 9th edition starter set, which is impressive, most impressive. So yeah, would I say to get this? Maybe. If you're looking for a cheap battle mat, go for it. If you're looking for cheap stormcast models or cheap orcs, maybe. You can find them in the starter set for now, but I mean, we know 10th edition. We know 4th edition Age of Sigmar is set to come out later this year. Not through any leaks or anything, but just through GW's release cycle. We know it's coming. What was it? 2021 saw the Age of Sigmar current version come out, and then it was 2021 that saw the current version of Age of Sigmar come out, and they seem to want to release Age of Sigmar a year after 40k gets its new editions. So that kind of says when these were going to be kind of coming out. So just kind of embed that in the terrain and just stick that piece there. Like, you don't necessarily have to glue the hand on. You can actually just keep it loose and stick on the other. You can't do the same with the alternative head though. But like, let's just stick the stabby git on that side. And you kind of see where this is going. Like if you want some cheap weird orcs that you can just put with your 40k orcs, this would probably be a thing. I know a lot of the Age of Sigma orcs tend to be popular with the 40k players because, well, they've got newer models that are easily converted to 40k. I know we've now got the Beast Snagger orcs, and I don't fucking like them. They look terrible. Like, GW haven't done 40k orcs well in a while, I reckon. Oh, I seem to have missed a mold nib on the Stormcast staff. Oh well, but like, yeah, it gives you a potential paladin, or like, these potentially give you some interesting models for D&D if you wanted them for that. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. That's kind of my thoughts on the magazine. Is it worth getting? Maybe. If you have a use for the models, go for it. If you're vaguely wanting to learn how to play the soon-to-be old previous edition of Age of Sigmar, go for it. But by now, this has probably come out in most of the world. And if you're in Australia, it's probably not worth really learning the rules from this because of the new edition. Like, we've got a new edition of Age of Sigmar coming, which will probably be announced at Adepticon. So it's worth holding off and instead having Adepticon actually getting the new rules from, like, this would be worth it for the models if you collect either of the two armies. Potentially. You might find that you'll get better options in the starter sets, which some places will be looking to clear on discount when the new edition drops, but GW themselves will discontinue. Potentially, anyway. But yeah, anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with the Imperial Night base. I hoped it was today, but, well, I'm still working on bits of the night that need to be shown in that video. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.